Hello everyone, and good evening, and welcome to this episode 11 of the project discussion series that we conduct every fortnight. So, this time we are meeting in the month of January for the first time because we were traveling in the first and second week. So, that's why we are meeting for the first time this month, and that too during the end of the month. So, hello and good evening, and welcome to those who are joining us live. And I also welcome to everyone who is going to participate or who is going to watch this stream later on. So, before I start, I hope my voice is properly audible and I am visible also. Okay, I hope, yeah. So, what is going to be the agenda today? Let us quickly see it. So we are going to discuss about the open web steel structures, and we are going to see their advantages and the possibilities of cost optimization with their use. Then we will be discussing a very important topic that will be the chartered engineer uh, certification program, which is going to be started by IAS Trupti. So it's a great initiative for structural engineers. That is what we would be discussing, and then we will be meeting engineer Preeti from. She will be joining us from Oman, and she would be telling us about the career opportunities in the Middle East for aspiring structural engineers. So there's going to be a lot of stuff in this episode that we are going to have. So let us begin then, and we move to our first segment, and that is where we always discuss some problem and a possible solution. So this time we are going to discuss the use of open web structural systems in steel buildings. So why did we choose this? Because there were some queries which were put by the participants. One few participants had put this query, so therefore we thought that it is an ideal discussion that we should. It is a topic for an ideal discussion, and therefore we are having it. So I hope this presentation is also visible to all of you. Okay. So what is the meaning of open web system? Let us try to understand that very quickly. How many of you are aware of what is the meaning of open web and have used for your projects? I think many of you have used, but you may not be aware of it by this particular name. So when I show you some images, then I think you will be able to relate with it. So this is a normal plate section. This is how a normal plate section looks like. Your normal flanges and webs. What happens in open web that we do not have a well-defined web system. Instead, we have some built up. So you do not have a well-defined flange. You do not have a well-defined web. You have some built-up members, for example, that we have used as flange at the top and bottom, and then we have some built-up members that we use as diagonal or vertical members. So there is no well-defined web, there is no well-defined flange as such, and therefore this type of system is called as an open web. Where have you seen this type of a system? Where you might have seen this type of a system? So as I was telling you, open web, there is no well-defined web. So, for example, in normal flexural plate sections, what happens that the flexural stresses are taken by the flanges and shear stresses are taken by the webs. But in open web, because there is no web, so all the flexural stresses are taken by the top and bottom members in the form of tension compression couple, and the shear stresses are taken in the form of axial compression tension by the diagonals or the vertical members that we provide. So we have just shown a 3D isometric view of a open web member. So it's nothing but just a truss-like system. Just that truss, generally for roofing systems, we call it as a truss, roof truss. But this type of an arrangement we generally call it as the open web. It is nothing but similar to a truss kind of system. So yeah, all of us have seen this. This is a perfect example of an open web assembly. What you see over here. Okay, this is what I'm talking about. Actually, railway stations is one of the best places where you can learn a lot about steel structure. Also, this triangular thing that you see, that you might have observed, this is also an open web system. What you see over here for supporting some kind of transmission lines, this is also a open web system. So you must have seen all these systems quite often in real life also. Another example from the railway platform, this is an example of open web. This too is an example of open web. Classic three member purlin that is made up of triangular open web system, and you actually have some ms bars which act as the diagonal and diagonal member of this open web. So this is a classic and I would say a standard assembly that you quite often see on each and every railway station across India. This is more like a steel beam, I mean open joist. Technically people like to call it as an open joist. Again, this is similar to a truss system. You can see the diagonals, verticals, and the top and bottom chord. In the other direction also you find all these are open web steel joists. So uh, it's a very efficient system, and actually if used properly it can lead to a lot of cost saving, lot of optimization. This is another open web uh, flexural member made in cold form steel. So I just thought we will put some examples before we begin. So what we are going to do, we'll just quickly see that how this use of open web system can prove to be cost efficient. So what we have taken, that we have taken two structural forms, and we would try to compare them by uh, some basic calculation. So one we have taken is the plate section beam, which will be comprising of a flange and web. So this will be our plate section beam. And for open web, we have taken a assembly similar to a steel joist like this. Okay. So these two systems we are going to compare. For comparison, we have taken a 15-meter span, and we have assumed that there are parallel members. So parallel beams at every 6 meters, or parallel these kinds of open web at every 6 meters. Dead load, let's say this is some kind of flooring system, whatever. So an area load of 2 kilonewton per meter square has been assumed. It has been converted into UDL, and we have applied that UDL, which will be equal to 12 kilonewton per meter. Why the 6 meter? Because 6 meter was the center to center spacing. Then we have taken then we have taken a lie load of 3 kilonewton per meter square, and converting it into UDL, we have applied 18 kilonewtons per meter UDL. Self-weight is taken as per actual. So this is the problem statement. Then these are the two. This is the model that we have prepared in StatPro. This is for the plate section. This is for the open web system. Uh, can we make open web systems out of hollow sections? Yes, you can. Actually, I'll tell you later in this presentation that it is actually much more efficient to make an open web system out of hollow sections. So this is the problem statement. We have applied uh, equal UDLs on both these members. Both these members are of 15-meter span. You will observe that over here we have provided these diagonals at every 1.5 meter. So this is 1.5, this is 1.5. This height is 1.6 meters. So for a 15-meter span, we have kept the height as 1.6 meters. L by 10. Okay, around L by 10. This plate section that you see right now, it is having a 800 mm web. So what you will immediately observe that this depth of the open sorry this depth of the open web is almost twice as much as the plate section depth. All right. So this is the first structural system, that was the plate section. So the section that we have considered is a flange 300 cross 16 rectangular plate section, three plate section, and this web is 800 cross 8, and you have a bottom flange of 300 cross 16. We have used the 350 grade steel. So we found that the utilization ratio is 0.898, which is less than 1, acceptable to us for the limit state of collapse. For the limit state of serviceability, we checked the deflection value. It came out to be 51 point something 48 mm. This is just slightly exceeding the permissible L by 300 limit for brittle cladding. So we are saying it's okay. So this member for a 15-meter span for the given load satisfies the conditions. Remember, we have taken just a simply supported span just for the comparison purpose. So this is okay, and the weight of this 15-meter member comes out to be 1.89 tons. Okay, so for this 15-meter member, which is comprising of this particular section, the weight comes out to be 1.89 tons or 1890 kgs. Then we have taken another, the second system is the open web system. The same 15-meter span applied with same loadings but a different geometry. And these are the members considered. So in this case, I have made this open web system out of angles, hot rolled ISA angles. So this is a double angle that we have used, 120 cross 10. I have also highlighted the members which have been provided this section property. So it is the top chord, bottom chord, and these members at the start and ending. Then these diagonals, the first four diagonals have been provided with. I think this is some typing mistake. This is 90, 98. Just make this note, and this is 75, 75, 6. Okay, the image has been interchanged. The diagonals near the supports are of higher cross section, 90, 98. The diagonals next to it are 75, 75, 6. Make this correction. And the innermost diagonals are 50, 56. Why do we require lesser diagonal sizes at the center, and why is more diagonal size required at the supports and at the ending and starting support? What is the reason for that? Why do we require heavier diagonals at the start and end and lighter diagonals at the mid? Because of the shear distribution that you get. So imagine this to be a simple beam. The more shear you get at the start and end, therefore the diagonal forces also are more at start and end, therefore you require higher section sizes. So we have tried to play with the sizes in such a way to achieve economy. And what is the grade of material used? 250 grade, because it is a hot rolled sections. So what do we get? These are the ratios that we are getting. Almost all the ratios are okay. Only over here and over here it is exceeding. These are actually because of localized movements at the junction, but we are not quite worried about it, because when we provide some connection, when we provide connecting plates, etc., this will be taken care of. So I am not quite worried about this 1.14. I have allowed it. Other than that, you see 1.0502, it's okay. We have accepted it because these are due to some local movements at the junctions. So this is done. Deflection is well within the limit, 22.74 mm. Permissible was 50 mm. So deflection is quite within the limits. Why did we have such a easy check for, why our deflection was satisfied so easily? Because of the large depth that we have provided. Remember, we have provided a 1.6 meter depth. So deflection is easily satisfied. Utilization ratio is okay. And what is the weight of this member? So the weight of this member comes out to around 1.70 tons. Okay, the weight of this member comes out to be 1.7 tons. When I say weight of this member, I'm talking about this entire 15-meter assembly. This entire weight comes out to be around 1.70 tons. What was the weight of the plate section that we were having? I think the plate section was weighing some 1.89 tons. Okay, so this is what we have achieved. And making a quick comparison, the plate section, as I told you, was 1.89 tons, adding another 60 kgs for stiffeners. So we are saying that the entire assembly weighs around 1.95 tons. The open web system was weighing 1.7 tons, adding 100 kgs for joining plates and other joineries. We are uh, saying this is going to be 1.80 tons. But remember, this was made out of 350 grade plates, and this entire system was made out of mild steel hot rolled sections. So the costing of these materials is different. Costing of this material is different. So the cost of material and fabrication is rupees 81 per kg. This is a general cost uh, in Indore region, I would say, fabrication cost. This is material plus fabrication cost. This does not involve erection or assembly. And the total fabrication cost therefore comes out to be, for a 15-meter member, you multiply it by this tonnage, it comes out to be around 1,57,950. While for the open web system, because it was made out of 250 grade, the input is lesser at 71 rupees per kg. This again includes cost of material and fabrication. So the total fabrication cost you get is around 1,27,800. So roughly, if you see, the cost differential comes around rupees 30,000 per 15-meter assembly. So between open web and plate section, the open web is costing you around 30,000 rupees less. Okay, so this may not seem to be a very big difference. This may not look very big difference, but imagine if there are several such members that are going to be repeated in your structure. For example, if this was a case of a rafter for a warehouse, this was a case of rafter. So you may have 20 such rafters. All right. So it directly leads to a 6 lakh rupees saving straight away. Okay. So if these types of systems are going to be repeated, it can lead to substantial saving. What is important over here to understand, that depth, if depth is not an issue, or if you have no height restriction, then open web systems are extremely good and efficient structural systems. Generally, why we do not use open web? Because we need to give more depths in order to control the sizes. So if you have depth restriction, sorry, if you have some height restriction, or if you have some issues with respect to depth, you may not be able to use open webs. But otherwise, if you do not have any height restriction, let's say if you are making a warehouse, it's okay to have a 1.6 meter depth open web assembly instead of a zero point 0.8 meter plate section. All right, it will not matter much. So in such cases, open web systems are extremely good systems. And what Mr. Rahul was asking in the starting, if these open web systems are made out of hollow sections, then the performance becomes even more better or even better. So open web systems made out of hollow sections give you actually excellent economy and excellent cost optimization. The only problem is some difficulties in fabrication because connecting hollow sections becomes slightly difficult sometimes. Otherwise, it gives you great economy and great optimization. So this is what I had to tell about open web system in the first segment. So I hope you understood what did we do. We compared a plate section with an open web system, and we could see and we could demonstrate that open web systems provide a great optimization and saving. And places where depth is not an issue, there is no problem of height restriction. Open webs can be a good system to adopt. Good. So this is what I had to tell you for this first uh, segment. If there are any questions, the utilization ratio was varying in the second open web system. As I showed you, different members had different utilization ratios. So I hope we all of us understood this discussion. Okay. Now we quickly move to the second segment where we discuss some projects. This time we are not going to actually discuss a project, but we are going to discuss about a new certification program that has been started by IA Struct E. IA Struct E stands for Indian Association of Structural Engineers. So, how many of you have heard this? Uh, how many of you have heard this? Uh, I mean, how many of you have heard about this association, IA Struct E? I think few of you who are in the audience today are also members of this association. Okay, so I'll just open a presentation that I have prepared. Yes, Rahul is saying that he is the member of this association, IA Struct E. Good. I think Praful is also trying to say that he is also, Atif is an associate member. Good. Yeah, you are the right person for this discussion. Mr. Sandeep, who is joining, he is also a member of IA Struct E. Castellated beam, can we also consider that as an open web? Yes, in a way, yes, in a way, no. Because in castellated, there is a well defined web. Only thing is that we take out the unnecessary portions from our web. So, generally speaking, castellated beams, we don't call them as open webs. Right. So, very important discussion on the Chartered Engineer Certification Program or Accreditation Program that has been started by iStruct E. I thought that this is important because I have felt that such a accreditation program was not there in India before, and now with this, it's a good thing to have for the structural engineers and the structural engineering profession. So what it is, we will very quickly discuss, and for details, you can always go to their website. So in this chartered engineer, firstly, I would like to say that this is not any membership. Okay, this is not a membership that you pay some fees and you submit some details and you get this membership. So it's not like that. It's a merit-based program that is aimed to recognize the structural engineers who are dedicated to their profession and who are technically competent. So you could understand this as a rating system or a merit based program for structural engineers. So, after rigorous evaluation, the aim of this program will be to award the engineers who qualify this rigorous evaluation process with a chartered engineer certificate. I'll again repeat, it's not like a membership certificate, it's a chartered engineer certificate that you will get after rigorous evaluation. Uh, as you all know that we are in exciting times for I mean, collectively as a nation, we are in exciting times, and there is a lot of construction activity, lot of nation building that is going to happen. So, by developing such a system, we can actually reward the deserving structural engineers and identify them to do better works. Okay, there's always a complaint structural engineers have that each and every structural engineer is looked with the same view, or every structural engineer is thought to be similar. But through this program, because of the rating system, it will be uh, I mean, it will be sort of a ranking that will be developed for structural engineers. This is similar in principle to the professional engineering certification that is usually given or that is usually available in several countries. This program developed by ASTRUCT-E is largely derived from the program. I mean, it is largely derived from the certification program that is conducted by iStruct-E, okay, which is a UK-based association. Remember, the Indian-based association has an A in the middle, and the UK one is just Institute of Structural Engineers. This is Institute of nee, what is this? IAStruct-E, Indian Association of Structural Engineers. Okay, so that's how they have played with the acronym. Anyway, so it's largely derived from the UK-based system of certifying the structural engineers. Okay, before we move ahead, an obvious question: how does it benefit me? If you are a working professional, imagine if you have a chartered engineer certification, it will help your rise in the organization. You will be given uh, maybe a chance to work on bigger and better projects because you have demonstrated your ability as a better structural engineer. If you are a practicing consultant, how will this certification help you? So it's a mark of excellence because you have because you have cleared some evaluation processes, cleared some exams. So of course it's a mark of excellence for you. It may prove to be a way to impress your clients and be able to get better projects or demand better remuneration and better association with fellow engineers or agencies. Okay. Then for employers, one who is there to recruit structural engineers, it's a very easy way of identifying the quality of a structural engineer. Suppose you have two structural engineers, A and B. One has this certification, the other does not have this chartered engineer certification. Of course, the one who has the certification will essentially get some benefits from the employer. For the government engineers, it may help them in promotion if such a mechanism is developed in future, or it may just be a good thing to have in the organization that you work in. For postgraduate students who are doing their studies right now, they it will actually help them to prioritize their studies, so they can do their studies from now on in a better way, streamlining it with the certification requirements. So let's say 5 years down the line, they want to have the certification, so they can start their process now itself. So it's benefit to all the structural engineers who are involved in different fields. What is the process? Process is quite rigorous. It's a three-stage process. The first stage is an application stage. The second stage is a personal interview. And the third stage will be a 7 hours written examination. 7 hours. Okay. So these are the three stages that will be part of this entire process. We'll quickly look at the uh, process in slightly more detail. So, as I told you, the first stage is the application stage. This involves an initial professional development stage. I'll just tell you more about it because it is one of the most important part of this entire chartered engineer certification process. Before that, if you want to apply for this certification, the minimum eligibility is a graduation and 5 years of professional structural engineering experience. Let's say you have done post graduation, then after post graduation, 5 years of work experience. So it's not as if you have done masters, the 2 years will be counted as a part of experience. Not that way. It is the working experience, the professional experience that you have gathered over the years that counts. So 5 years is required. Minimum education requirement is BE or BTech. So to apply for this certification, you need to have some credentials. Just like you do tendering for projects, they ask you the credentials of your organization or an individual. Similarly, if you want to apply for this certification, you need to have some minimum credentials. And to document that credentials, to tell the IA struct E that you are qualified enough or you are capable enough of applying for this certification program, you have to submit what they will call as an IPD, which is initial professional development. So you have to prove that you are professionally qualified enough, capable enough for applying for this certification process. So this is a very important step, because if you have unsatisfactory level of professional development, then your application will be rejected. So let us see what exactly is meant by this initial professional development. So initial professional development will judge the candidate on 13 core objectives. Very important. So a structural engineer will be judged on 13 core objectives. These core objectives relate to the personal aspects of a structural engineer, of course, to the engineering aspects, and to the management and commercial capabilities. So you may notice that it is just not technical. It also has a personal aspect. It also has a managerial and commercial capabilities. All right. So basically, before you apply for a chartered engineer evaluation process, you have to demonstrate your capabilities in all these fields. So under personal, association and communication, I'll just put it over here and then I'll explain in more detail. In engineering, conceptual design, analysis and design, understanding of material, societal aspect, construction. I'll talk more about these. And these are the management and commercial objectives: management skills, law, health and safety, commercial awareness, contract documentation, and quality systems. So the initial professional development requires different level of competency for these 13 objectives. Remember, there are 13 objectives that you need to show your competence for. For each objective, you may not be equally competent. So the competency levels are different for each objective. So they have made a 4 level competency scheme. Okay. So the level of competencies are G. This stands for appreciation. That means you have a general appreciation or a general understanding of a particular objective. Knowledge standard means you have a knowledge and you understand the objective and its application. Experience means you have experience of practicing the subject independently or under supervision. And ability means ability to apply the subject without supervision, and you are competent enough to advise others also. So I'll just repeat what I said, that we had 13 core objectives. For each core objective, you are required to have different competency levels. The minimum is G level and the highest is an A level. Okay, let us see slightly in more detail. So this is the first objective, association. That means the candidate who is going to apply for this certification should have some adequate knowledge about the IA struct E association, and a candidate should have general understanding of the professional bodies and how these professional bodies work, and he or she should be member of few bodies. All right. So for this objective, the minimum standard required is K. K means you should have some e- knowledge of all these things. Okay. How you will prove that you have sufficient knowledge? So maybe you can say that you have been attending regular sessions, you have been involved in regular participation at these forums and these sort of things. So you can prove your capability by submitting documentary evidence for uh, these programs or these events that you may have attended. Communication. This is the next objective, very important. So minimum standard required is an A standard. A stands for the ability. So you should have not only knowledge, but you should have the required ability to demonstrate that you have effective communication skill, you have effective interpersonal skills, you are able to collaborate with others. I think Mr. Atif is watching this episode, so he talks a lot about engineers not being good at communication and how young engineers struggle to communicate. So IAST understands this, and therefore they have put this at the highest. They have put this requirement at the highest standard of competency. Then then comes the core engineering, conceptual design. The candidate should be completely able or should have the highest standard in preparing feasible structural solutions. He or she should be able to come up with conceptual designs for a given design brief, and the conceptual design should ensure strength, stability, ability to be executed, good economy, aesthetics, etc. The second core objective in engineering is the ability to analyze and design. This again, the minimum required standard is A. This is the highest standard. That means the candidate should have an ability to carry out analysis and design for the relevant codes as per the relevant standards. The next objective in engineering is materials. So the candidate should have good knowledge of material, at least two materials working knowledge the candidate should have. They have outlined four materials: concrete, steel, masonry, and timber. So at least two should be well understood by the candidate. This again is at the highest standard A. That means candidate has a complete ability and has a good competency level. The general societal aspects, how structures or built environment affect the society, how they affect the environment, how they affect the environment, how they affect governance aspect. So generally these are called as the ESG standards. Okay, environment, social, and governance. So this you should have a minimum, you should have a K level of competency. K stands for knowledge, so you should have a basic knowledge. Then construction. So the competency required is an E. E stands for experience. So you should have some experience of uh, working on the site, working with different materials. You should have experience about material testing, construction program scheduling, etc. So these were the engineering aspects. Overall, there were five engineering objectives that are required to be fulfilled by a candidate. Then we come to very quickly we come to the management and commercial aspects. So management skills, E, that means basic experience. So you should have some experience of leading some teams in your organization, or you should have some project management skills to do some licensing work with the involved agencies. These things you should have some experience. So the level of competency is an E, that means basic experience. You should have some minimum understanding of law. So this is at the lowest level of G. G means just a general appreciation, just a general know-how. Health and safety, very important if you are a site person, because health and safety legislations are very important these days. So you should have some knowledge. The competency asked is a basic knowledge of health and safety issues. You should also have some commercial awareness. So not only you are good at design, but you also understand some things about the financial and economic aspects of construction. This is at again the lowest level of G. G means just a general know-how of these things, not a detailed uh, understanding. Just a general uh, superficial level understanding is also acceptable. You should have minimum knowledge about the various types of contracts that are used for construction and design services. There are different contracts. There's a PPP mode in which projects get built. There is a private finance initiative. there is a design and build contract. So as an engineer, you should be having some knowledge about the contract documentation part also. Again, the competency is K. That means some basic knowledge and some basic knowledge about the quality systems. So you should have knowledge of quality management system like ISO 9001. Again, the competency is a K. That means a basic know-how of these things. So these are the competency levels. I have just tried to highlight it in a tabular form. So you will see those where I have highlighted red are the competencies which are most important for this certification. Okay. The brown are the second grade competencies, and blue are the third grade, and fourth is just a superficial uh, appreciation. So these are the various competencies, these are the various objectives that you need to fulfill if you have to apply for this certification program. So, as I mentioned before, also, these objectives are chosen in a way to ensure that a structural engineer who is going to apply for this program, certification program, is a well rounded engineer. So, we don't want, or the IAS structure does not want engineers who are only good at design but have no knowledge of managerial aspects, or a structural engineer who is only understands the managerial aspects but does not understand the design. So the aim is to have a well-rounded engineer who understands all these things. Now there are two ways to have this initial professional development criteria fulfilled. So one way is the individually managed method. That means that for young engineers who may not have the required experience, they may have to satisfy these core objectives under supervision of some mentor. So, for example, you don't have sufficient knowledge of quality management systems right now because you have not worked in those fields till now. So, you approach a mentor, you ask your mentor to guide you for these things. Mentor should, of course, be a structural engineer having some relevant experience and expertise. And then after your mentor trains you or mentor guides you, then you fulfill the criteria and then you apply for the application. So this is the individually managed way of fulfilling the professional development criteria. The other method is the retrospectively collated. This means those who are already experienced engineers who have, let's say, around 10 years of experience, they may have worked on all these core objectives during their past 10 years. So they can demonstrate the fulfillment of these objectives by producing documents or documentary evidence from the past work. So for example, I have done some project in the past. I can put i can put that documentary evidence that I had worked on such and such project, and because I worked on this project, it sufficiently shows that I have the required objective, or I have met the required objective of analysis and design, conceptual design, or things like that. So this is the retrospectively collated approach. For many of the engineers that are in the audience who have, let's say, 4 or 5 years of experience, they will have to go by this approach, that they will have to uh, go to some mentor who will help them to groom on these objectives. Okay. Then, uh, to put together these objectives, you will have to make a portfolio or document which tells or which supports all these professional development objectives or criterias. So just like architects make portfolios, you will be required to make a portfolio which tells the IA Struct E team that you have met this criteria in such and such way. They are expecting a 400 page max. Of course, this is the max limit. They are saying that your portfolio should not go beyond 400 pages. So if you are, I don't know, our thesis, my thesis was, I think, some 150 pages with lot of figures. So it's okay. Uh, Near about 70, 80 pages, 100 pages is good enough portfolio size that you can submit. It is better to put some actual figures, actual examples, actual data, which will demonstrate that you are suited for the certification program. If your initial professional development documentation is accepted, then you go to the next stage. And what is the next stage? It is the personal interview stage. So I'll be just go through the next step quickly. So when I was making this presentation, I was just thinking about the Contra game. We used to play a video game called Contra. It had a lot of stages. So the first stage was, I think, what was the first stage? Jungle. Then we used to have a base one, waterfall. So we used to cross all those stages to finish the game. So similarly, there are three stages in this certification program. So if you satisfy the application stage, then you will be asked for or called for a personal interview. So here you have to demonstrate that whatever you had written in the portfolio, whatever you had mentioned in the documentation, you are good enough for that, you are well suited, and then there will be a 60 to 90-minute interview. If you clear that interview, then you go to the next stage, which is a written examination. So candidates will be required to clear this examination. This typically will be a 7 hours. Yeah, it's not a typing mistake. It will be a 7 hours written exam. I think they will give some half-hour break between these 7 hours. So it will be a 7 hour exam and 5 to 6 possible questions, out of which you have to attempt one question in totality. Each question will have two parts, I think, and the syllabus will include building structures and non-building structures, and there is a whole array of possible structures. So your design paper or whatever paper will be based on these structural systems or buildings. The minimum criteria for passing is 40% in each section and 60% overall. So if you pass this written exam, then you will be awarded the chartered engineer certification, and then you will be called as a chartered engineer of IA Struct E. This certificate will be valid for a period of 5 years, and after the completion of these 5 years you will be required to satisfy the continued professional development criteria. So why we took this presentation for this month? Because the certification program has already started for the year 2023. It is the first time that it is happening, and the certification program has already started. So the applications are already on as we speak. So uh, through social media platforms, through announcements, they have already announced this certification program. The last date to submit your applications is 28th of February, and then the other dates I have mentioned over here. So 28th February is important as of now because this is the last day to submit the initial application with those initial professional development objectives submitted. Okay, so this is an important date right now. The fees is not very high, 1,000 rupees with the certificate with the application form, and if your initial professional development gets selected, then you will have to pay another 10,000 rupees, and then you will be able to appear for the interview and the examination. This is of course subject to the IPD getting approved. Okay, this 10,000 fees is a one-time fee. So for 5 years, you pay this fees, and if you are successful in the evaluation, then you get that chartered engineer certification. So, what is the conclusion of all this long discussion? I think this is a great initiative that has been taken by IA Struct E to develop some merit-based recognition for structural engineers. We cry quite often that there is no good rating mechanism for structural engineers. So this is one such uh, mechanism that has been introduced. Of course, it a certification will be a mark of excellence for the structural engineer, and it also will ensure the continual development of the engineer. So I think it's a win-win situation for everyone, whether you are a client, whether you are an employer, whether you are part of the society, or you are a structural engineer. that we should have more competent engineers in the profession, and this is a good way to do it. So personally, I and Akanksha would be applying for this certification program. And will you? This is uh, with what I will end this. So, any quick questions for this, because we are already late today? Mr. Atif is saying very good presentation. This. I will again repeat. This is not a membership program. Membership means you just pay some fees and you become a member. Not like that. All right. This is a certification program which will involve evaluation, and I have already listed the evaluation process. Mr. Rais, who joins us from Shopian, Kashmir, he is asking, will mentor be from ISTruct E or from other registered construction firms? Yes. So, see, ideally, the mentor should have been up. I mean, the mentor should have been himself or herself a chartered engineer. Ideally, all right. But because this is the first time that this is happening, you will not have any chartered engineer from ISTruct as of now. So you will have to look for some suitable or able structural engineers, some seniors in the profession who you think will help you to fulfill this criteria. So, for example, if you want to fulfill the criteria of, let's say, law is an objective and this is what you have to fulfill, maybe you go to some lawyer who is in the field of contract documentation or who's in the field of legislation or arbitration, and you take some guidance from him or her, and then you try to fulfill this objective. So typically mentors should have been the chartered engineers themselves, but because this is the first time they are starting, you will not get chartered engineers as of now. Okay, right. Uh, do you think, Mr. Arbaz Kazi is asking, do you think instead of forming this IA struct E, the ISE should have been allowed NCEES of USA? Lot of acronyms. Do you think instead of forming this IA struct E, the ISE should have allowed? I'm not sure about the NCEES. What does it mean? So if you could provide the full form of this acronym. Sanjay Kumar is asking what to do for references. Now, this is a separate question. References, you are asking about the general membership. The presentation over here that I have shown is not for general membership, it is for the certification process. So, those two are separate issues. And I think your question was also answered. You write an email to IAS Tructee, they will help. Or even Mr. Rahul or Atif or Sandeep or whoever is a member of IAS Tructee, they can provide help to you. All right, so I thought we'll have this presentation because it covers an important, uh, it actually covers an important uh, aspect, and it will be a big thing in years to come. This will be a coveted certification in the future. This is what I believe. So we got delayed, but we will move to our next segment. That is where we share experiences by meeting fellow structural engineers. And for this episode, we have with us engineer Preeti. She is a structural engineer and she provides technical support and is involved in technical sales for Dimensional Solutions Incorporate. This is a parent US based company, but she is working in their Muscat, Oman office. So her current roles and responsibilities include providing structural engineering training and structural engineering technical support to clients. She also looks after the technical sales of the foundation design software. So we are very happy to have her with us this evening. I'll just add her to the stream. So hello and welcome, and good evening. You are on mute right now.
Hello, am I audible?
Yeah, yeah. So good evening. Hello.
Good evening, sir. Hello, how are you?
I am good. Sorry to keep you waiting for so long today,
No,
but
no, it's
our
fine.
segments took
Yeah,
slightly
yeah.
more time.
I
So you
usually
are,
join your episode, so
yeah, okay. So
and
you are one of,
hello to all the AuxEn's participants.
yes, you are the first overseas guest on this discussion series. So welcome.
Oh, thank you for inviting me, and thank you for arranging these sessions. It's helping us a lot.
Yeah, thank you so much. So, if you could just tell us what you have been doing. Let's say since you graduated from college till now, where and how you have been involved. If you could quickly tell us.
Yeah. Basically, I'm born and brought up from Karnataka, Mangalore. So
Yeah.
I did my all the education I have completed there itself. I completed my Bachelor of Engineering in Vivekananda College of Engineering and Technology. So
Okay.
as soon as I completed my engineering, I joined a construction company as a junior civil engineer. So it's a builder's office. I was in a BOQ QS section, and I
Yeah.
was also playing a role of project coordinator, where I
Okay.
had to discuss and arrange I had to coordinate with consultants, site engineers, and contractors. So my job profile was in that area. And then it was, in builder's office, it's not much of technical, it will
Yeah.
be limited technical this thing. So I was more interested in structural design only. After that, I joined a design consultancy where I started my job profile into structural design. Initially I started with structural drafting, AutoCAD, and basic calculations and all. When I was starting the core of design, I relocated to Muscat. Then
Acha.
again here I had to again restart my job hunt.
Okay.
So
So, what are
first,
you doing currently?
currently I am working in Dimensional Solutions. It is a
Okay.
US based company.
Mhm.
It's actually a software company where
Okay.
they develop software for structural engineers, especially foundation design software. And that
Okay.
has five softwares in total. If participants are from oil and gas industry, they would be knowing it's MAT 3D, foundation 3D, shaft 3D, anchor, DS anchor, and DS tank. So this is involved in only foundation design, like equipment foundation, horizontal, vertical vessel, horizontal exchanges, all those things. So my role is supporting to the structural engineers who are using this software, the issues they face in their project when they use our, like same what we use ETABS or SAFE,
Yeah.
we write to the technical support. So similarly we have to solve that issues, and I give training to them in this software, also demos and presentation. Whoever are going to use our software, we will give presentation to them.
Okay.
So right
So,
now I'm doing that.
so you
And
also uh,
pre sorry.
you also help them with their project. I mean, if they have some difficult project, that also you assist them in helping out.
Yes, yes, yes. Because sometimes what happens is they won't be knowing that this capability is possible in our software in their project. So they will send us their project, and we will see what are the things they are doing it wrong, or is
Correct.
it available, the feature is available. So previous to this, I was working in ETABS and SAFE also. So
Okay.
in this particular software, we have that interface of STAT, ETABS, and all. So
Okay.
that also we have to see whether they can import the reaction, are they doing it correctly. So all that I'm handling it now.
Okay. So if some client gives you some good suggestion, those suggestions are also incorporated in the next revision of software.
Yes, yes, yes. We take lot of customer feedback. Like
Okay.
every year we have a latest build releases. Recently also we had a build release. I hope you know we had
Yeah.
seminars
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
over India
I
as
saw
well as
that.
Abu
I
Dhabi.
saw
Yeah,
that.
that was our recent latest build where we incorporated lot of features based on customer feedback.
Okay. Okay. Very interesting. Yeah. So yeah, you were telling something when I interrupted you, or
No, I completed that. That's what I
Okay.
was telling about my previous job.
Okay.
Same thing.
All right. So the main purpose of inviting you today here was that because you are pursuing a career in the Middle East, there are many people who I have met or who ask this question that how to have a career in the Middle East or in the Gulf countries. So if you could tell the aspiring engineers or even experienced engineers how they can approach of pursuing a career in the Middle Eastern countries. So if you could tell us that.
Yes, sure. Can I share? I have prepared a presentation so that it would be
Okay.
easy for that.
Sure.
I'll be sharing that.
Yeah. You will get that option at the bottom, I think.
Yeah.
For the audience, you can ask the questions to Engineer Preeti by typing in the comment section. So she will be happy to answer any queries that you have, maybe for her current role or maybe just a career guidance. Anything if you want to ask, you can. Yes, I'll just
My
add this.
screen shared.
Yeah, but you put this in the presentation mode and then share it again.
Okay.
In the meanwhile, you are sharing. I'll just answer this question. Mr. Salman was asking. He was asking about the presentation for the Chartered Engineer program. So his question is, if I clear IPD, Initial Professional Development, and pay rupees 10,000. No, so if you clear that, I mean, if your initial professional development criteria is found suitable, then you will have to pay rupees 10,000. Then you will be called for an interview. If you pass the interview, then you will be called for a written exam. And if you pass that written exam, then you get the certificate. So 10,000 is you understand in this way that 10,000 is the fees, but it would be taken once you are found suitable enough to apply for the process. Yes, were you able to share?
Uh, 1 minute. It's actually not showing.
You press Alt Tab.
Yeah. I'm doing that. I should now it should be
Wait.
shared.
Yeah.
Is it shared?
Yeah. Yes.
I
Yes.
hope it's in presentation mode, right?
Ah,
Okay.
yes.
So as you told, it's today we are going to discuss about guidance for career opportunities for structural engineers in Middle East. Now, when we are talking about structural engineering as a career, we all know that it is a vast field with multiple options with different kind of industries. Now, when I say industries, I would divide it into like proper sector. Say AEC. AEC means architectural engineering construction field, oil and gas, roads and bridges, mining and metal energy, software companies. Like as I told, now I'm working in a software based company where they require structural engineers, Bentley, CSI. So these are all the industries, and then roles it comes to us, where we will be working from the client side or consultant side or contractor side or sub consultant side. When you say you want to develop your career in the structural engineering field, or you want to work in a Middle East, then you should be very clear that in which sector you want to develop your career. It's not just like you will apply any company and you will start working, then later you might feel, oh, this is not what I want to do. So first of all, you should be very clear and do some background research about these things, so that you know the scope of work, so that you in what you are interested, you will do very well in that, right? So better know the scope of work before you choose the company or company chooses you. Okay,
Correct.
that's what I wanted to tell first. And now this is a disclaimer I wanted to say. There is no hard and fast rule. Now I say like this you do and then you will be having opportunity in Middle East. It doesn't work like that. How does it work in the sense, now I have put this in a pie chart where it says maximum area goes to practice. So anytime now today you will say I want to go to Middle East and work, it will not happen in overnight. If it's different for experienced people, I'm telling this for intermediate or the freshers, like entry level engineers. So practice
Yes.
is very important in whatever you do. You do the practice every day, and then interest. So one day you will be having interest, and then very soon you get demotivated that nothing is working out, nothing is happening. So that interest should always be there, because if you have the interest, just by saying we will work in abroad then doing nothing, that also will not work. Like when you have interest, you will try to find out what are the steps to do next, how to go, in which path to go, so that you will reach your goal. And
Yes.
then luck. For me, luck is always like if I put effort, luck comes along. That's what I feel. So for different people it may be in different way. Now I might give some tips and guidance that may not work for you. So there
Yes.
is no hard and fast rule. You have to develop your own interest and practice, then you have to plan in a proper way, and then set a clear goal. As I told, you have to first figure out in which area you want to work, in which sector you want to work. If that is very clear, then it will be very easy for you to go ahead,
Yeah.
right?
Correct.
Now this is the first and foremost. Without this you can't take a next step. Any it's not only for Middle East, for any country, even in India I feel this is the most important thing when you are working in structural engineering field. Basic fundamental knowledge of structural engineering. Now for AuxEn participants, I know we are all most of them are experts, so basic fundamental knowledge will be there. But sometimes what happens is we tend to forget things. We think we know, we are working every day, but some formulas, some things, when suddenly someone asks, we don't remember that. So that should not be an obstacle. So
Yeah.
what happens is we should keep our basic fundamental knowledge very strong. Now most of us we are addicted to softwares. So
Yeah.
manual things sometimes we don't remember actually how to do, what to do, and this is very important for freshers. Anywhere we go for an interview, structural engineering, you must be knowing.
Yeah.
Software comes secondary in the interview questions, but all these basic fundamental about the structure, their behavior, SFD, BMD, all are those are the basic questions will be asked. If not, then first round itself we can't
Out.
clear out. That's what. So here also it goes in the same way. Technical round, if this is okay, then everything goes well. Second is software skills. Now software skills is it's a must. Once a fundamental knowledge you are good in that, you in your CV you must have some software skills, because now we don't do anything manually, right?
Yeah.
uh, Now when I say as per industrial requirements, you should focus on first which area you are working. Suppose you are working in high rise structure, building structure, then better to be expert in ETABS and safe. If you are interested in oil and gas industry, then it's better you get expertise in STAD. Because I have seen now like it's not that STAD we use only for oil and gas industry, buildings also we do use. But as per my experience, I see lot of AEC market is using ETABS and safe, and oil and gas industry for steel structures and all STAD is being used. And again, if you are going for road and bridges, you have a different set of software like Civil 3D, all that. So it depends on your interest, which industry you want to go, and master in that particular software, so that your CV will be having some weightage. Then comes this international code knowledge. This is also must. So after this two, this will be your next question. Obviously, do you have a codal knowledge?
Yeah.
It's like even I don't have that practice. I should develop that practice. I think every day we should have that habit of going through the codes. We
Correct.
cannot like sometimes what happens is they directly ask us, tell us the seven clauses from this code or this code. So it is very difficult for us all of a sudden to tell like different codes we don't know. But what one thing we can do is we all know about the Indian code IS 456, so we can take any one topic and compare with the different codes about the earthquake, what this code tells, same in Eurocode, what parameters they have listed out, what they have mentioned.
Yeah.
So that one practice, if you develop, it will be very good and it is compulsory. Actually, international codal knowledge is very important when you cross the border.
Correct.
Then confidence and communication skill. Confidence. Now, the first 3 points, when you are making it a practice and when you are good in that, confidence obviously you will be having. There is no doubt because nothing to fear. You can crack anything. You will have. You will develop that confidence. Second is communication skill. This is a very important. I have seen everywhere. Now, just now, sir was telling about that. IAS Shakti program. There also you have mentioned, right?
Yeah. Correct.
Communication is very important. So,
It was
uh,
given the highest weightage by IS communication.
yes, yes, yeah. So even here also, when in Middle East or anywhere we go, you have a high technical knowledge, but you don't speak, you don't express yourself, then it is very difficult to survive, right?
Yeah.
I think the growth will be very slow if you don't have that communication skill. So that is very important that you have to, if you are not talking or if you are not able to express, then you should develop that and you should work on it. Or else, uh, see, when you come to some new place, new company, we can't expect everybody to come and help us or, talk to us. So if
Correct.
we have that fear, we will not be able to grow. We should be open to talk to anybody. We should be confident so that we can develop and people will know us. After
Yeah.
that, they will, we can develop contact. But initially, later also, we being a structural engineers, we will have to communicate with so many people,
Yeah.
consultants and clients and architecture. Sometimes we have to, face some situation where we need to convince all
Yeah.
that. So if we don't speak and if we are not good in communication, it's very difficult in this
Yeah.
field, especially in anywhere you travel outside the country.
Yes.
Then I would advise to build your network and connection with the people in same professional field. So this is also very important. And I think nowadays this is not difficult, right?
Yeah.
We can
Yeah.
easily build a connection. We have lot of platforms, but this is very important where you can get opportunity anytime.
Yes.
You and this again one more thing. This will not happen in one day. You will have to make it a habit and every day try to build slowly, slowly. But course of time, you will be having the large network where you will get a lot of information. You can see lot of opportunities, and you also can come to know that what industry require from us, so that you can be prepared for that. So, now, guidance for getting a job in Gulf. As I told, there is no hard and fast rule. There is no single effective way. It depends on the industry you choose and your career level. Career level in the sense either, entry level, intermediate and experience level, I feel it's much easy for them. But other two levels, you will have to work on few things. First of all, as I told, you have to have a proper strategy and you have to plan accordingly
Right.
so that your next step will be easy, or else you will be in confusion. Simply you will be applying anywhere without knowing anything. You will be wasting your time also. So better have a proper strategy in which direction you have to go, and then you can plan certain things. Then cv is also very important now. What happens is people don't have time to read the CV. Most of the time it happens like that. I have seen they will just see for keywords
Yeah.
what this industry want, and is that keywords. Suppose say I have a CVA and CVB. CVA is very good in technical, but his CV is little bit, pale.
Yeah.
There is no much of things highlighted in that when I see a glance. And CV B is okay, okay, but the CV is very attractive with lot of highlighted keywords, codal provisions that he knows or he has put up. So obviously, my eyes will go to that CV. That
Correct.
has happened most of the time. I have seen. So,
Yeah.
what happens is we don't want to take risk. It may be the case or may not be the case, but to better be in a safer side, always
Then
keep your CV well maintained.
yeah.
If good projects are there, you can put in case if you are a very fresher, you have not been working in many projects, at least you can put you have attended the this webinars, you have been to this workshop, you have done small projects, all that can highlight your CV. So that is very important again. Then, as I told, connect to your networks. Every day, if you make it a habit, your connections will be large. You will get to see the post. Here, the people are being hired. You'll come to know what companies are there. Not only connections in India, across the globe, you try to send requests and see what are the companies are there, international companies. Sometimes you will come to know there are some expos,
Yeah.
like design and build expos and all. In that, you will come to know the main people. And sometimes, luckily, if you are very lucky, you will get the contact of HR and they might be looking for the candidates and they'll share the email ID. So that might happen. So it's better to make a practice of all these things.
Correct.
Start engaging now. If you say, okay, I am planning to go, and okay, now I'm not ready, later when I am ready I will do these things, that will not work. Now if you start, maybe after a year or so this will be effective. So if you engage to people of your same field now, maybe whenever they have that opportunity or open vacancy, they might contact you. So it's always better to be engaged with the people of our same profession. And nowadays, you can get connected to people sitting in any corner. That is not a difficult task. So in your day-to-day practice, I think you should incorporate these things also and make a habit of it.
Right.
Now, these are some of the tips that I have seen. It has worked for many people, and sometimes it may or may not, but it's some of the ways so that you can get jobs in Middle East. Apply through all job sites. Now we know that there are a lot of job sites. uh, so what you can do is you can just apply there wherever you see a good job sites. I'm not going to mention the names. We all know. So if
Yeah.
you apply there, even if you don't get, you will get the name of the good companies and the
Yeah.
job role and responsibilities. So what that helps you is, you first thing you will come to know what are the responsibilities that company or industry is looking for you. Okay. Second thing, once you get the name of the company, you can actually go to the genuine website of that company. There you can apply for the career. So that is also one option. Second is, contact top overseas recruitment manpower consultant and participate in their physical interview. Now, this is maybe you have to invest a bit if who are interested in. And I'm not suggesting this because there are a lot of scams and traps also. So when you do this, you have to be very careful and consult some reputed, genuine manpower consultant who have been in the industry since many years. Many people who has got benefit out of it. There are genuine manpower consultants, so you can try this as one option.
Yes.
Third thing, what you can do is apply 3 months visit visa, fly to country you choose to work, and after landing, you start searching. This is also one option. This option has worked for many of them actually.
Okay.
So apply 3 months visit visa and then fly to country. But before doing this, you have to do little bit of background work. Like you have to list the companies. and you have to check whether you can get in contact with HR and the area, which job location you're seeing, because you randomly fly and land somewhere and nearby your what companies you have listed, if it is far away, it will be very inconvenient. So initially you have to do some research work and then try this option. And it is always better if you have some people who can refer you. What
Yes.
happens is, I have seen is recently here in Oman, I have been to many reputed companies because we had a client meeting. There, I knew their structural engineers I knew very well. So when I go, they have come to receive me and
Oh,
they took me to their office. In case if I was not knowing, then it would be very difficult for me because there are in 3 floors, so many people are working. The front desk people are not aware that which engineer is sitting in which office, and they don't entertain also.
oh,
Because
correct.
in India, we know if we go, they are very welcoming, and sometimes they say busy, you can meet later, or they'll give
Mm,
the contact. But here, it's not entertained like that. You should know them, or you should have some reference, or you should take a prior appointment. So first time when you visit, it may not be useful. You might have to collect their IDs or contact number, and then you have to try again. So sometimes that inconvenience might be there. Other than that, it's a good option that you can try.
yeah.
Then next is list the companies. This also you can do anytime when you are free, or if you are genuinely searching job in Middle East. List all the companies that you are aware of or you are interested in, and try to find the HR department or concerned HR person. Then you can send the request to them, connection request, and in case if they reply, you can request the email ID. Most of them are, they would like to help. Sometimes you may get reply, you may not get reply, but do not get demotivated. All these
Yes.
things will not happen in one day or one night. You have to keep trying. Meanwhile, along with your job, side by side, if you do this, I'm sure definitely it will work. Okay? Then last point is, I would suggest or advise to target companies that are globally present. Now, when I say globally present, it's not that only in Middle East. The office presence should be there in all the region. That will be very helpful. For example, I will tell Worley or Petrofac. Such companies are there in India also, right? And they have across the globe. Offices are across the globe. So, if you are working in such companies in India, there might be chances that they only can send to on-site job, like they may shift you to abroad. Or
Correct.
if you are working in such reputed companies, you can put in your CV and you can try other Middle East reputed companies where you can say I have worked here so and so.
Yes.
So this is also one of the options. Now, this is my experience. When you see, you may think, what is this 5 by 50? So I will tell you, when in Oman also, I have worked in Barik Telecom services. That sir asked me that time. This part I skipped to say. I had
Okay.
worked here also in telecom services. It was Tower Foundation, where I worked for Huawei, Orido clients and all. It
Okay.
was a different sector, in-house software, where based on procurement, all that. So
Mm,
that time when I was searching job, I had applied to some 50 companies where I got response from 5 companies.
okay.
So even if I was applying nowadays, I hear people telling I have applied for 200 companies, no response, 300 companies, no response. So do not count on companies. I feel wherever you see a good companies, you just apply. You don't know from where and how opportunities we will get, right? So
Yes.
suitable company, when you see, you just apply. Do not get demotivated or disheartened that yaar itna company ko apply kiya and no no reply. It whenever you work hard, definitely there will be a result. But initially, you sometimes for some it is very easy and some it may be little bit difficult. So do not stop that job hunt. You will definitely get it. Then, second thing is keep in touch with your ex-managers, directors, managing directors, managers, senior engineers. Now this is very important. Whenever you are working, keep in touch with them so that even they will be changing their job, right? They will be, they will be having their career growth. So if you are in touch and they are in some other good companies, or if they get some news about openings, definitely they will refer you. So this has worked for me. Even here, some of the companies I had got offer, which was referred from my managing directors who were in India.
Okay.
So it's all based on connections. More connections, the more you keep in touch with the people with same profession, more opportunity.
More opportunities.
And LinkedIn has always worked for me. LinkedIn, I feel this is the best platform for all of us. My present job also I have got from LinkedIn only. So dimensional solution. And actually, what happened is I have taken a short career break in between. After I worked in Oman, I have taken a short career break.
Okay.
Uh, but I always knew that I have to get back to my work. So I had been in touch with the industry in some or the other way,
Okay.
and then I was taking like what is required now, what is up to date, all that. So
Yeah.
because of that and because of my connections only, I have it was easy for me for my back to work. When I joined, it was easy for me. Then always take an appointment or consent of concerned person before meeting physically. Yeah, I already told you this, because
Yes.
here people don't entertain. You're coming or traveling from so far, and it will be inconvenient when you don't have proper reference and all that. So it's always better you take an appointment. You try for that at least. If it's not okay, but it's always better to try. Now, these are some of the list of few MNCs I have listed. There are lot more. These are only very few, and these are existing across the globe, like Rambol, WSP. Now, I have not listed exactly to which industry these are, either transportation or building. You can do your own research and you can see what is your interest and which company you would like to go. Maybe you will be having different list of companies. So ACOM, ARUP is a very, they have a very good, division. So many divisions are there. So, and they have a lot of projects also. So it is a very good company. And Motmac, Black and Witch, Kati Bellamy, Dar Al Hansa, TR Engineering, Bureau Haplot Engineering, MEC. MEC is a Middle East consultancy. They are in Oman. Also, they are in Mumbai. Zamil Steel, Sistra, Kovi, Worley, Petrofac,
Atkin.
Atkins, Aramco. Aramco is in Saudi.
Yeah.
Arcadis, PDO. PDO is in Oman, actually, Petroleum Development Oman. Then Hatch. Hatch is also across the globe. Jacobs, Bechtel, FNM Middle East, McDermott. Fluor is also a very good company.
Yeah.
STI, SNC Leveling, they are in Saudi.
Mm.
Toyo Engineering. I think Toyo Engineering in India also they are there.
Yes. Yes. Toyo
And
is.
McDermott and now Neom. Neom is also a very good company. They are investing in lot of projects.
Okay.
So this are very few. If you check out, you will get lot of companies. So yeah, there are lot of opportunities. I will say if we put our time. And nowadays, yeah, oil and gas industry is little bit, all constructions have been done, but
Yes.
Middle East, if you are planning, still the tourism sector is going to boost. Lot of
Correct.
projects are coming, infrastructures are going to develop. So, and one more thing I wanted to tell is recently, as I told, I have been to Dubai and Abu Dhabi. ADNOC is one of the one more very huge, a company where lot of experienced engineers are there. And when we were all sitting together, we had three, four reputed companies, and they were telling that I was in this company, we were usually in this company, in that company. All six engineers were in that circle where in same different six companies. So I was thinking so many people are there and these people are only revolving in this reputed company means there is scarcity of experienced structural engineers. So
Correct.
I think there are a lot of opportunities. And here also I have been to many, I will be going for training and technical presentation. So I have to meet a lot of structural engineers. So they were telling some of them who were here, do you know them? I told, yeah, they were also here. Means all the engineers are there in the reputed companies. So I was thinking that means our lot of engineers are not trying, or
Yeah, we are
they
not
are
trying hard
right,
enough.
not trying enough because opportunities are there and we are not trying. Maybe that's one of the reasons.
Correct.
So thank you for
Well,
your time and patience, and I'm always happy to help if you want any help regarding this structural engineering, or I mean opportunities in Middle East. If any ways, if it's possible for me to help, I am ready to help.
wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time, and thanks for putting this presentation very well. And it was full of information. And I hope your last line is of great importance for all the structural engineers, that there is a lot of dearth of good engineers. It's only that
Yes,
we are not trying hard enough.
yes,
So those who are wanting to, uh, not just Middle East, but those who are looking to apply in good engineering firms, try hard
yes.
enough is the message from Preeti.
Yeah, I would say that don't keep your goal only to Middle East.
Yeah.
You have to travel across. I'm not telling everybody go out of India. No, we have a lot of opportunities in India also. But who are
Yes.
interested, they have to just go and explore.
Yes.
Even Australia, European countries, there are a lot of requirement where experienced and skilled. That is very important. Skilled and experienced structural engineers are in need.
Good. So if there are any questions for Preeti, I think there are a lot of questions already. If there are any questions, you can just type in the questions in the message comments, or if there are any questions related to the earlier two presentations. One was on the open web and the chartered engineer certification. That also you can put in. So I'll just quickly. There's a compliment from you from. Uh, are you able to read it?
Yes, Preeti is
Okay.
very articulate and presented very well. Thank you. Thank you, Neo Design Group.
I think he is Dasgupta sir, and he's a senior engineer joining from uh, Pune, I guess.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you so much, sir. Interested to use software for equipment foundation design? Yes, yes, definitely.
how to
You can
acquire the software?
the
If you can
software.
put in your
Yeah,
email ID, they will be able to contact you.
I will type my company email ID. You
Yeah,
can,
yeah, yes.
yeah, you can get in touch with me. You can write a mail. We will get in touch with you.
Okay. I'll just copy and paste this in the comment section. I've put the email ID of Preeti and her company's email ID. You can get in touch with her through this email ID. So Atif is saying the pie chart that you presented was good and good presentation.
Thank you. Thank you, Atif Nawaz.
Uh, nicely explained. Then there
Thank
was
Islahuddin.
yes, Mr. Islauddin had to also ask another question. I'll just put it over here. Uh, yes, is it compulsory to pass municipality exams if we want to work as a structural engineer in the Middle East? So it, I
No,
think,
no.
Yeah.
There is nothing like that. If you are coming through a company, then there is no any exams as such. But recently now the law has not yet come. There is a Oman Society of Engineers. I am talking about Oman especially. They are we have spoke about IAE Structly, same
Yeah.
certification. They are going to start that, but it is not yet started, and it will take time. And now also there is no as such examination. If company is hiring you, they will hire with your degree and experience and skills. That's it. But in case if you are like independently, if you want to come and you want to open a structural consultancy, then there are some procedures.
Okay. Did you do masters in Oman?
No, no,
Uh,
no.
it is asking.
I have not done my any studies here. Everything was back in India, Mangalore only.
Mr. Raul is asking how can we have the demo session of software? You can probably write on the same
Yeah.
email.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
You can have a demo session. Coding programs in science for structural engineering. Any programming skill enhance your career in abroad for structural engineers? Nothing like that. Whatever, like we are doing it in India, that's the same thing what we follow here. Means I'm not clear. You're asking
I think
any?
he's asking about hardcore computer programming like any language, Java or C++ or that sort of thing. I think he's asking.
No, no, no. Like
I
programming
think
skills.
pertaining to your job maybe because you are in the software development.
No, no, no. Regarding mine, no. I am purely into structural engineering only. I will
Okay.
have to coordinate with the development team, but based on structural engineering.
Inputs. Yeah.
If I want to, like in this software, this is not there, the client is asking, then I will tell development team that we want to incorporate this feature. They will work. The software engineer will work on it. I am
Correct.
purely into our civil field.
Mr. Salman is asking ETAB, does your foundation software have plugins to ETABS and STAT?
It's There is no plugin, but we have a separate standard template where we have to just copy paste our etabs or stat reaction and import it. We have a module that we can import the etabs reaction or stat reaction, or you can also import if data are in Excel. We don't need any separate plugin.
Islauddin is asking any job consultant or company career page on LinkedIn which you think is effective and if you could recommend any such useful page.
I don't know which is effective, but there are many. In specific, to name in specific, I have no idea because there are a lot. I have subscribed or I'm following lot of pages.
Okay.
So I get. If you would like, I would research and tell.
Okay.
More effective.
He will contact you on LinkedIn.
Yeah, yeah, sure, no problem.
Mr. Pawan is saying he has been to Oman and Dubai, would like to connect on LinkedIn. I think
Yeah,
with you.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Actually, sir has tagged me in your post, right?
Who?
You have tagged me in the post that you
Yeah,
have
yeah,
shared.
yeah. Correct.
So
Yes, yes.
that's itself my LinkedIn connection. You can get connected.
Yes. Uh, Abhijit is asking, I'm looking to do masters abroad. So which country should I prefer? Especially if he wants to do a masters in BIM and structures, I'm looking forward in US.
Yeah, I think to pursue your education, US, UK, I think that would be better option. Middle East is good for working.
Things, if you could tell us about BIM and its future
Yeah.
in South
Okay.
Asia, is asking. So if you could tell us about the
Uh, yeah,
prospects of
like
BIM.
nowadays, yes, I think BIM would take over CAD in very soon
Yeah.
because BIM is not one software; it is a package. It is in whole. There is lot
Yeah.
of software interconnected like Revit, Civil 3D, and Naviswork. Lot of things. So yes, I would think now that is becoming, it's a fast growing software that everybody would recommend. Like in recently we had a event. I was invited for a event from Autodesk. So what they are doing is they are doing mandatory for a lot of companies.
Yeah,
Lot of clients are doing mandatory, so company have to incorporate that BIM in their, so obviously the demand is increasing for BIM engineers also.
correct. So I think we have exhausted the questions. That's it. So thank you, Preeti, for taking out time on a weekend and joining
Thank
us.
you. Thank you, sir. I hope it was informative and session was
Yeah,
usually we have technical session and today it was little bit different from technical session.
yes. No, no, it was wonderful session and there was a lot of information that you provided and I think there were a lot of action points that you have included in the presentation. So the interested structural engineers will surely look into those points that you have suggested.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Right. So that's all we have for this episode. Thank you once again for joining us on a weekend, and I wish a very good weekend to all of you. And until next time, it's a goodbye from uh, me and Akanksha, and hope to see you all in next episode. So we'll be back in the first week of February. Bye bye. Good night. Take care.